So today we are looking at the best players, the top 10 in each position within reason. Obviously, with strikers, you just pick R9, Cruyff, Maradona, Pele. You're not going to pick them naturally because they're just not affordable. These are going to be the best value. These are going to be what we've now seen since the last time we did this was a month ago. We have had a massive dramatic change in price with a lot of these cards, and we've added some of the positions with a few more extra big boy players that you might throw in there. With the keepers, to be honest, this is probably the easiest one you can throw out there. Keepers are just not that expensive. They've never been crazy expensive. I threw Khan in there as well, just on the fact that if you did manage to get him, I don't think he was a bad keeper to get, to be honest. I do think he's one of them that really he's going to actually perform for you quite well. He's 86 rated now. I believe he goes up to a 91. Up to a 91 in general, so in November, sometime around November, he will go up like the rest of the debut icons. Everybody else is pretty standard across the leagues, depending on what you're going for. I'm a big fan of Donnarumma. The deflector's done pretty well. I've used Alisson as the rush out. I think that's fantastic. Yes, Courtois, another fantastic one. I do think Courtois possibly is going into a more prominent position to maybe take over my Donnarumma, as predominantly a lot of people's teams are featuring either La Liga, Liga F, Prem, and then you'll find out a bit of Serie A, a bit of Bundesliga, if you've managed to pack one of the big players in that league. But I do think each one of these can definitely still start. I don't think there's a bad keeper out there at this point that lets in a considerable amount more. Like if I put the difference between ter Stegen and Courtois, maybe you get a slight bit better of a chance with the Courtois. You get the playstyle plus, which is the only added bonus. Other than that, I feel like they do roughly the same sort of job. There will be preferences. Every time I do a keeper sort of list and it's specific to each of them, you will always find somebody doesn't like Donnarumma, but then somebody loves them. Somebody loves Raya, but then someone prefers Martinez or Mignan. So it's a definite opinion breaker there, but I'm personally liking my trio at the bottom here. Very cheap, very affordable, and they're the net keepers that are going to save you, hopefully, a lot of goals. So if you're looking for coins, head over to eldorado.gg. There is huge amounts of verified sellers on Eldorado, and there is a money back guaranteed by Trade Shield. If that's not enough, there is 24/7 live support and also plenty of reviews across websites that will definitely put your mind at ease. And as always, before you check out, make sure that you are using the code JT11 for 5% off every single order. Back to the video. But where the list gets a little bit more interesting now is the actual proper outfield players. Your fullbacks are now full of some absolute gems, from SBC matchday heroes of Lizarazu, then into just hero SBC potentials in Capdevia. We've got special cards from Balde, and even then if you throw the Balde out and don't go for the 86, even the 83 can definitely do a job. You look at someone like Mendy, now having the ability to go up to an 84. It's a massive upgrade for him that really does give these players that little bit of life. And there is one centre-back that I've completely forgot to put in. I will see if I can add him in someone like Van der Ven. But even throwing in a Jordi Alba at 200, Marcelo as a debut icon that should go up a fair whack. He goes up to 89, goes up to the 89. He adds in a first touch plus. Stats-wise, great across the board. 5 pace, 5 defending, 5 physical. He's going to be a cracking card if you have managed to get him. That being said, I don't think I've really seen him. So always interesting to see if you've managed to get him. And I always like seeing the debut icons, as the pack weight beyond belief is so on the low in comparison to anybody with an R9, an Henry or an Ibra. We obviously have Calafiori from an SBC, Lizarazu, like we mentioned, was Batcher, Cucurella coming from the rating refresh. Very good upgrade in itself, especially for Cucurella. Getting that pace upgrade was absolutely massive. Nuno Mendes, one of my favourite left backs in the game, especially if you are running PSG, Portuguese, Liga 1, him and Hakimi being the two counterparts, Pacho, Marquinhos as the defence. Absolutely brilliant. Easy throw in there. And then obviously even Teo Hernandez, I think, is another one. You could go Prem with like Kirkes. Obviously you have got Robinson, who's obviously got some extras that you can throw in, but not got a fully upgraded card as of right now. We then see the right backs, obviously again coming with the same level of caliber. We've obviously got a few golds in there. I've thrown in the normal Llorente purely on the fact that we are looking at a 400k difference for an 86 in form. As much as, yes, that Llorente is going to be a considerable amount better. He's got double stats on everything, 2s and 3s across the board. I don't think he's that much better. Like, I would still rather go with the 21. Obviously, then, just coming from the old ones, Reece James is an SBC, still very prevalent in this game. And yes, we could still pick Carfu, Thuram, Maicon, but realistically, not many people are paying that much money for them. We're going for more realistic budgets. Hakimi now dropping to 120. Frimpong still having that ability, and yes, he does have a ultimate scream. I'm not paying 600k for him. It just isn't happening. Whereas then you've got the likes of Dumfries, Di Lorenzo from Serie A, Weah coming in with the 99 defending once we get that ultimate scream 7-day trial or 7-day temporary boost. Massive for a card at 39,000, 91 pace, 99 defending. I know he's obviously not going to have that for forever, but for that time in itself, it would be a fun card to try out. And whether they continually do this, I don't know if is it a full moon or a blue, I can't remember if it's a blue moon or full moon, whatever it is, but if they keep doing it like they did last time, where they basically gave you a random 99 stat, it could be worth keeping some of these cards. We got Battle, who's going to be a great perfect link for someone like Pinner coming up the top. You've obviously got Pateus and Bonmati throwing him, and even Mappy Leon, she's in the centre back version, and she is absolutely incredible. Obviously Kayonde, a bit of Trent going in for the La Ligas, a very easy kind of budget when it comes to right backs and left backs. You can either go the mid to high budget of 100, 200k, maybe even drop it to 50, 60, or you can quite literally go for a 9k right back and he still will get the job done. I don't think he's in many of the upgrades as of yet, but that more than likely will change in the very near future. Then obviously, like I say, we did miss out. In fact, I am going to swap out. I'll probably swap out Rudiger at this point, and we've got to get a bit of Mickey van der Ven. I completely forgot about him going from rating. Where did I go wrong? How did I do it wrong? De Ven? I don't even know. Ven? Mickey? I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Mickey? Is it that way? I don't know. There we go. It's because I was in centre mid. I was thinking that. I was like, well, it's definitely Van der Ven. Obviously, I was in centre mid, so needed to change the position. Obviously, still incredible. He can actually go into an Evo now also as well. Going in and adding a little bit of defending physical for him. I think that's massive for a card like that. 90 pace, now going up with the 84 defending and physical. You throw a nice kind of if we go probably anchor still on him. If we throw the anchor on him now, you're getting a very, very nice card back. Obviously, then, we've got some of the absolute greats. Van Dijk, a little bit less now. I very rarely see him, which, as an overall presence, is nice, but I much prefer Saliba. Saliba's been outrageous for me, and even Mappy Leon, like I say, we throw her in. Her and Paredes, actually not terrible centre-backs. Mappy Leon, definitely one of my personal favourites. We do have the two PSG boys in Marquinhos and Pacho. The free Tomori from Season 1. Romero and a bit of Yoro from the rating refreshes. I think a wonderful centre-backs compared to their counterparts. And yes, we're kind of missing out on them heroes and icons that are still 2, 3, 400k that I just think I would much rather go with like a Saliba and a Pacho. I don't think the value in them is there. Like Georges, great centre-back with the Anticipate Plus at 200k at this point. I'd just much rather go for a Saliba. So value-wise, I think there's still a lot of top-end centre-backs that really come in that slight bit better, in my opinion, rather than going up for the big boys. Then obviously going into CDMs, I think there is a great category, whether you have 2 or 3 of them or even just 1, failing that even none, some of them can still play that centre mid role well. Obviously, we've got a lot of informs. It does mean their counterparts are still viable. Obviously, Caicedo and Gravenberch, they're only a 1 upgrade from their counterparts, so you can more than likely go there. Busquets at 400. I threw him in as more of a controversial one. If you're looking nostalgic, very much like Pogba, in that value of you've got an Alba or you're trying to build that Barca team, fair enough. Like you'll pay for it. He's obviously not going to get that big of an upgrade anytime soon. Like this is the one and only for right now, and maybe we see him later on during footies or something like that, but for right now that's going to be the best bet you can get. Patry and Rice coming in as the box crashers. I think both of them have got their own set of skills, even with Rice not necessarily having a crazy amount of ability around every stat. He's consistent along most bases, which I think is brilliant for him. He's finally semi-usable without an upgrade. That being said, he will naturally naturally progress downwards, kind of like Kalanoglu. Great with the incisive plus. I think that is a wonderful playstyle plus that helps him stick around in a Serie A team. But again, it's not going to forever. He will need that upgrade at some point, like we've seen with a lot of players. Zubamendi, great upgrade for him. Neves doesn't necessarily need the full upgrade. He's obviously only a +1. And even Pogba. We have got loads of evolutions for him that have definitely took him to that next level. And whether you want to pay the 250 for him is a big question, but for me, I do think the SBC is a fantastic one. If you haven't chosen him as an evolution as of yet, it's a nice basis to go off. I just don't think he's quite on that top meta. I think he's just underneath the nostalgic merchant, but I would put him in, if you're looking at the top 10 of value wise, he's not awful to say the least as well. I think he's kind of in that ground where he's overhyped, but he's not necessarily crazy low on the comparison. We then have some centre mids. We've obviously got some absolute top ends. And to be honest, you could easily just get away with like a Frankie and a Reyners. 130k between both of them, or 140 give or take. You're absolutely fine with them two. You could go a jump up and go Bonmati Pateus. Very good in themselves. Vitinha, Valverde. Obviously Pedri throwing his name in the hat. McSauce, actually solid with that incisive. And I've even throw in a few of the debut icons as well. They are obviously coming to the upgrade soon. And Cruz is going to get himself a 90, and Iniesta I think a 92 or 91. He's going to get a 92, so it's a massive step up. I believe both of them. I know Iniesta gets the incisive. I'm pretty sure Cruz does as well. He gets the long ball pass, so Iniesta might feature a little bit better there. Obviously with Goretzka, if he finished his SBC, was available in the Star in Motion, if you wanted to throw him in there. Does get the technical plus, might not be my favourite as a kind of a box-to-box, but there's options to show that 85s are getting there already. So a very nice star-studded lineup here that, again, you can go really high-priced with Pateus, Bonmati, Valverde, or slightly a bit lower with like a Vitinha Pedri combination, and it will still work. Cams have been absolutely on the rise. One of my favourites at the moment has got to be Cherokee. What an upgrade he got in the Stars in Motion. The Trickster Plus, thrown in with just the level of stats. You throw the Hunter on him, he is very, very good on the ball. The 88 dribbling. It's very much like a Karchawi as well, with how quick he can dribble. She is unbelievable as well. Even in the base version of her gold, she is fantastic. The same as a lot of these Ultimate Scream cams. Mariana, Pulisic obviously has got multiple cards, and even a cheeky bit of Greasy. You might be looking a bit more expensive, but they are definitely worth it. Throwing back the time capsule into a Guti in the very first base hero match day. Great card, incisive, you throw them in the cam, not a problem whatsoever. Then obviously the Verts, the Bellingham now dropping in price massively from their 250 all the way down to 60-70,000 coins is huge. Goulet, beautiful SBC. A bit of De Bruyne, I've kind of thrown him in for the nostalgic vibe, obviously going into the 77 pace. And obviously Park is Park. 214k SBC is unbelievable. I absolutely love him with that pinged pass, linking in with like a tiki-taka of De Jong. You throw in anybody else like that, it just works effortlessly for me. Which then brings us over to the left wings. Again, there's a high level and a low level. I must admit, Rafinha this year, if we're kind of disregarding the kind of Vinny and then like a Ronaldinho-esque sort of type, that they are going to be just beyond belief. Same as like Dembele and Mbappe, they'll be able to play every role, but Rafinha for 200 is crazy. Rapid Plus is the one this year. I think between the Quick Step and Rapid, it seems to change most years, but Rapid definitely this year has been phenomenal. Even then throwing down to Pinner as a non-fast left wing, still got pace. Like 79 does not do her justice. You can play a left wing, you can play a striker. The low driven is a broken one, as everybody can imagine this year, but you've still got players like a Nico Williams, a Hemp with that Rapid, that do counterpart it. Personally, I've got Harry Kewell in there, who had to be thrown into this list with that low driven again. There's probably a long list of low drivens that could be justified across all of the attack, but naturally going through some of the players we've looked at, we've played with, we've played against, you can kind of see the list breaks down quite nicely. Salma, Swanson, obviously then throwing in Chowinga's inform, very nice players in a specific role. Pinner's most definitely one that I come up against most, but she tends to be down the middle as well, which is, again, holds another position down. Felix, obviously with his inform and the ultimate scream, very, very nice contender. And Liao, Falcao with his upgrade is unreal, but the 14k is still not to be scoffed at. The right wing is pretty much just the same as well. We've got a few extra high players. It seems to be everybody got a Yamal. He was just there every single time. We got him in like the second champs rewards, and him and Mbuemo have been kind of the two. I managed to get the ultimate scream, the very first one as well, which I was very happy with. But between them both, they both have got different ability levels. Obviously, I do think that Yamal is kind of more of your dribbler, whereas obviously Mbuemo is more of the actual finisher. It seems to be both have got that capability. We obviously have got Salah and Hansen, had to throw them in as the kind of top end golds, obviously. And then even Diane coming in as the cheap one. Oscar Bob's same. You could throw Cherokee there as well if you really want. And then a few of kind of like the mid to high rateds of a Rashford 200k SBC. I personally do prefer the striking variation, but I could see why people go with a right wing as well. Say with Elise, Adeyemi with a quick step, Doué with the 5 different positions he can play, and even a Barbo now coming in really cheap with that quick step. There is a lot of capability on that right wing, and we're really starting to see a vast versatility of different players depending on your attacking line and also then the midfield that you might have packed. When it comes to strikers, it gets really difficult now because we've got a set amount. I see Isaac a lot, I see Haaland a lot, I see Gyökeres a lot. Yes, you will see the occasional Wilson, you'll see Alvarez potentially, Dumine, Katoto throwing themselves in, and they are now becoming incredibly cheap. Mateta was a great SBC. The jump up now between these and the icons, heroes, and the top end is just nuts. Like the Dembele is still coming in at 1 million. Mbappe's still at 2. We then see a Ginola still at 1 million, an R9. There is such a gulfing class between 200k strikers and the rest of them. It's just absolutely nuts. So we are kind of down to these sort of cards without then packing one. A Torres from an icon pack, a Tevez if he's even available. I don't know if he's 89 in fact, but he's 88. So a Tevez from a hero pack. They're going to be that next level that you can find. But Rashi, Ekitike, who's one of my personal favorites, he's been unbelievable in the game. Even if you throw in his 83, getting him into any of the Evos that will happen, he's definitely going to be one that will be featured a lot. But even just staying with your bog standards, a finesse shot and an enforcer plus, a low driven and an enforcer, a low driven and a finesse, it works every single time, and you don't need the absolute crazy budget that we've seen on strikers unless you're throwing in a bit of a gamble SBC. So let me know down below, what's your personal favorites? Is there anybody missing in the 11? Let me know, or the 11 positions. Leave it down below. Make sure you like and subscribe on this, and I'll catch you all for 6 PM for any content today. Peace.